Somebody should add up the amount of time I got to speak and you got to speak on this segment here. Your notion that kill ratio determines morality is really pathetic. We killed far more Germans than Germans killed Brits or Americans. Does that make America wrong in World War II? If kill ratio is your criterion, I'm curious, was America wrong?
Dennis Prager, the legendary Dennis Prager, went on the Young Turks podcast video thing, and they actually had a debate on Israel and Palestine. And just look at this photo. I think it's perfect. Like, Dennis is like, why the fuck am I here? Why am I dealing with these idiots? And he did a great job, I think, putting them in their place on Israel. Check it out.
It can't be trusted to run their own government. They deny them a state. And so, but let's get back to America. January 6th.
No. You can't throw out bombshells and then move on.
All right.
You think that the Israeli government or the average Israeli who voted for this government thinks that Palestinians are not fully human?
Absolutely. Then why don't you let them go? Why can't they have their own state?
Because it'll be run by Hamas. Are you foolish?
Okay, so what? The right-wing, violent government of Israel kills Palestinians all the time. Okay. So you're saying, wait, no, but you're saying the Palestinians cannot govern themselves. Isn't that what you're saying as a fact?
You believe that there is moral equivalence between Israel and Hamas. That's all I needed to hear.
You're literally saying they're not equal. You're saying the Palestinians and the Israelis are not equal. We have to violently oppress them for the rest of their lives. How long is the occupation going to go? How long are you going to keep millions of Palestinians as prisoners because you think they're less than human?
Okay, Israel doesn't want to commit suicide because you sitting in America have it good, okay?
Okay, so you're saying never, right? You're going to imprison Palestinians for the rest of time, is that correct?
When the Palestinians disavow terror and stop trying to destroy Israel and don't announce that they want to destroy Israel, there will be peace.
Dennis, they have done that in the past. You said not good enough. But the current state of affairs is the absurdity of the Israelis saying, we will not allow you to have a state because you theoretically say that we cannot have a state when we already have one. But no, you're literally preventing them from having a state. So since you are preventing them, doesn't that make you a monster who doesn't believe in freedom? And that all of your empty talk about, how much you love freedom is total garbage because you don't think it applies to Palestinians.
You have a weird way of thinking.
Great answer.
Go ahead. Why can't the Palestinians have the same freedom that every other human being has?
If you allow me to speak, I'll tell you why it's weird. You believe there is a moral equivalence between Israel and Hamas. That is morally sick.
You are sick for not allowing Palestinians, millions of them, to be free. You don't believe in freedom, Dennis. You believe in oppression as long as it's on your side. Why can't they be free? Why can't Palestinians be free? Because
he gets so triggered, he can't hold himself back.
They will choose a government you don't agree with? That is the definition of oppression.
Okay, there you go. Okay, the people heard my position. They heard yours.
Your position is, just to be clear, the Palestinians cannot be free. They are not equipped to handle freedom. Is that your position?
At this point, they would elect Hamas. When Israel left, Israel did what you want and left left Gaza, it ended up being run by the terror organization called Hamas.
So they would elect someone you don't agree with, and hence they are not allowed to have freedom. What a big advocate of freedom of speech you are, Dennis. Wow, a shining advocate for freedom who says, if you don't elect who I want, you will never be free and you'll be under our thumb and under occupation. You will never have your own country. That's literally what you're saying, Dennis.
No, it's not at all what I'm saying.
You're saying if you elect people I don't want, Hamas in this case, you're never allowed to be free. So who do you want him to elect? Dennis Prager as the head of the Palestinian government? Is that what you want? Then you allow them freedom? Would you even do that? You would never allow them. Why can't Palestinians be treated in the same exact way as every other human being?
If they act normally, if they don't elect Hamas that go over and commit October 7th, if they don't do all this garbage terrorism around the world, yeah, then they would be treated just the same. But there's a reason why, and I hate to put it this way, but there's a reason why there's a lot of Arab countries that don't want Palestinian radicals in their country, because they look at it like, could be most of them are peaceful, could be most of them are fine, maybe not, maybe 50% are fine. The problem is they are going to elect leadership and they are going to try to push for leadership that is very extreme. That is what happens in these societies. They push the extreme and the radical voices to the top. That's why Hamas got elected. And that's the reality of the situation. It's like, do you really want a Palestinian state that's going to be a new terror exporter around the world?
Let me know when I can speak. Have we reached the point that I can speak? Yeah, I will say the same thing again. Israel does not want to commit suicide by having Hamas and having Iran and having Hezbollah type people run the West Bank like they run Gaza. That is it.
People.
I have always been for two states. Most Israelis were for two states. There is almost no one left in Israel who agrees with you, including the Israeli left. You live in a make-believe world.
Why are they, Dennis? Why are they the type of people who can't govern themselves? What does that mean? What do you mean that they're the type of people who can't govern themselves?
They would elect vicious terrorists to kill Israelis. That's whom they would elect, and Israel is not for it.
Why would they be different than all other human beings? Why would they be
not different from all other human beings? Iran has that.
But you said that they cannot govern themselves and they will elect vicious terrorists.
That's right. Unfortunately, because the worst of them are dominant, just like in Iran.
Just like Netanyahu and all the thousands that he murdered. Okay.
Okay. What he murdered?
Yeah. You do a war and you have a kill ratio of 1,000, sometimes 100 to 1, sometimes even more. That kills thousands of Palestinians and go, oh golly gee, did I kill all of them? It was an accident. When the terrorist Arabs who can't govern themselves, who are vicious terrorists, they do it, that is terrorism. When the state of Israel does it, it is not terrorism. And we killed 100 times more, but it is not terrorism. We bomb in the middle of a crowded city and murder their civilians, but that is not terrorism because the state does it and people Dennis Prager likes does it, but the Arabs and the Palestinians are.
Like when he goes on these rants, he humiliates himself. He looks like an idiot. He looks like an idiot.
Vicious terrorists by nature and can never govern themselves. Boy, advocate for freedom, Dennis. You're doing great.
Somebody should add up the amount of time I got to speak and you got to speak on this segment here. Your notion that kill ratio determines morality is really pathetic. We killed far more Germans than Germans killed Brits or Americans. Does that make America wrong in World War II? If kill ratio is your criterion, I'm curious, was America wrong?
No, Dennis, it depends on disproportionate power. You know who had disproportionate power? The Germans over the Jews. They had disproportionate power.
Mic drop, that is a mic drop moment right there. It's not about how many people die. It's about the reason why they're dying, if it's intentional, if they're trying to kill the people, or if they're not trying to kill the people. That's what it is.
And the state did it. The state of Germany did that to the Jewish population, to the Polish population, to all of those different people. But you would say, no, when the state does it, it's no big deal. State does it, it's no big deal. That's not terrorism. Only when civilians. Well, could Jews have fought back against Hitler and done it with great violence and tried to bomb him and kill him? Could they have done that? Would that have been morally conscious thing to do?
Okay, it has nothing to do with anything we discussed. Well, I don't understand your question. If the Jews could have bombed Hitler, should they have?
Yes.
Is that your question?
Yes.
Yes, they should have.
So if you're being oppressed, you get to bomb the people oppressing you.
Are you comparing Israel to Hitler? I won't even argue with you. I just want to.
No, I'm asking you a simple question. I'm not drawing a comparison. I'm just asking you a simple question. If you're being oppressed, as the Jews were in Germany, are you allowed to bomb and kill your oppressors?
Israel to Hitler? I won't argue with you. I want a yes or no. Are you comparing Israel to Hitler?
No, I'm asking does state power count?
So you're not. There's no.
I'm asking does state power count as terrorism? I think it does count. I think when the Germans killed all those people, that was terrorism. I think when America and Israel and Russia invaded.
Look at him squirming. Look at him squirming. No, I didn't mean that. This is hilarious because he's trying to squirm. First, he makes a comparison, an obvious comparison of Israel to Nazi Germany. And then when Dennis is calling him out on it, he's like, well, I don't know. Well, I'm not actually going to say that. I'm not comparing it. When in reality, he made an obvious comparison there and he just got called out on it.
8 other countries and kill civilians, that's also terrorism. Doesn't that make logical sense?
No, not at all. Israel defends itself. End of issue.
That's literally what the Germans said. we must defend the homeland.
Okay, so you are comparing the Germans and Israel.
I'm comparing state power to state power. You're saying no, individuals are terrorists, Arabs are terrorists, but the Israelis are never terrorists and the state is never terrorist.
This is mind-boggling. It's worth it. I'll play it on my show. You'll get a lot of publicity.
All right, fantastic. Okay, so Dennis Prager, who does not believe in freedom just for Palestinians. Everybody else, enjoy. Maybe you live under a Christian nation, and maybe that means governing you, but maybe it doesn't. Maybe it's optional, okay? We'll see, except they say govern, except you know that every Republican says, I don't believe in a separation of church and state. I've seen it 1,000 times. You're being totally disingenuous if you don't say that. You know that that's what they say, and that would be a religious oppression of the rest of us. We're not interested in the religious oppression. We're not interested in oppressing women and saying, hey, you have to serve us in the home. We're not interested in any of that oppression. Ironically, Dennis, what we want on the left is freedom, and for all of you right-wingers to get out of our damn lives.
Yes.
Right, so I understand how you operate. You have these long monologues. You go from subject to subject, and we can't analyze any one of them. I asked you, when Christians were in power in this country, did they ever force Christianity upon anyone? So I don't know what you're talking about when you say they don't believe in separation of church and state.
But that's why I love America. That's why, but Dennis.
You have a United States Congresswoman, Lauren Boebert, giving incessant speeches about how the Constitution doesn't say there's a separation of church and state.
Oh, the Batman to the Robin to his Batman. Cenk Uygur's little crazy lady. Anna Kasparian joins the debate.
Completely rewriting the Constitution and spreading this ideology that this should be a Christian nation. That is wrong. If you genuinely believe in freedom, as I do, as Cenk does, as most normal people who love America do, you should not force your religious doctrine on others.
Okay, if you're on the left as opposed to liberal, you don't believe in a free nation. I reject that because you suppress dissent.
No,
you're on our show.
We're not suppressing dissent at all.
You're right. Well, I don't get a chance to speak much, but you're right, and I honor that, and you are exceptional.
All right.
In this regard, you're an exception, but it has nothing to do with the generalization that the left suppresses dissent.
It doesn't.
They 100% suppress dissent. They 100%. Like, think about left podcasts that have on right-wing guests. It doesn't happen. It almost never happens. The other side happens a lot, like Patrick Bet-David, for example, all the time has on people from the left on his podcast, but the other way around, it just doesn't happen because they believe that everybody's a Nazi. And one other thing I wanted to show you is the comments here. And actually, Cenk got majorly ratioed in these comments. Cenk should be studied as a pure example of a wolf in sheep's clothing. He should be investigated by police too. This is his own YouTube channel. And again, he's getting ratioed here. This is another comment. Don't like TYT or Prager, the Young Turks, or Dennis Prager, but the Young Turks look bad. They didn't let Prager finish speaking. This interview didn't accomplish shit. Wow, 2 people from TYT against Dennis Prager isn't really fair. You guys should have brought in a couple more from the Young Turks. Seriously. This is the exact reason why YouTube removed the dislike count on videos. Dennis is too smart for the Turkish guy. TYT should rename the video Cenk crying for 10 minutes compilation. Cenk makes a total fool of himself. What kind of person invites someone on just to scream at them? So true. Anyone who constantly interrupts demonstrates that their argument is so flawed that they can't defend it by having a back and forth without constant interruptions. Very true. So in their own comment section, they're getting ratioed by Dennis Prager fans or Dennis Prager people that, or even not Dennis Prager fans, just people that felt like he got completely treated unfairly in this interview, where they're trying to have a normal conversation and Cenk Uygur can't because he is an animal. And so is Anna Kasparian, the Robin to his Batman. For more, subscribe to the channel. If you want to help us make more of these videos and support us, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/JewishUncensored. You can also go to our channel memberships page and join there as well. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.